while and tell us some stuff that goes on with you.
Alright, well, I remember one time when I was just standing in the neighborhood, standing in the corner, and not doing nothing wrong, just standing there, and the policemen came, and then they stopped me. They were searching me, and they didn't find no drugs on me, and they got mad because they didn't have nothing on me. So, they threw me in their car, and they handcuffed me, and then they took me to my rivals. See, I'm an Imperial Gangster, that's folks, so they took me to the other one, the Land Kings, and they, on the walkie-talkie thing, whatever, when they talk loud, they said, this guy's folks. If you get the door open, you can keep him. And so I'm back there handcuffed, and then the policemen are playing with the lock, making the lock go up and down, and then the Land Kings are outside trying to open the door, and I'm out there, like, man, there's a lot of Kings out there, and then they get the door open, and then the Kings, they start hitting me, they start, hitting me, then the policeman said, all right, leave them alone now, and then they take me down the street, and they were like a block away, and then they let me out the car, and they told the guys, if you get him, he's yours. And they told me start running, and they said get him. They're telling the guys get him, and I'm running, and they're after me, but they don't catch me, because I ran, I got to the folks. So but if they would have caught me, they could have done anything, kill me, and this is the police officers. They're supposed to help us. That's why in our neighborhood, we don't even trust them, man. Over there, like they go around saying, fish love, saying that they ride in the gang, they pretend like they're gang bangers, like this one guy, his name is, they call him Senor Gallo, that means Mr. Rooster, man, Mr. Rooster, and he's like the leader of them cops or something, he comes out the car, and he, what's up, fish love, what you guys ride, and since we're gangsters, they say, they throw down our nation, they start saying gangster killer to us, fish love, then they start, beating us up, man, they want us to fight with them, sometimes they bring other rivals to our neighborhood. They bring the Land Kings into our neighborhood so they can watch us fight, They be watching us and they laugh and they just keep going, they don't care, if they don't find drugs on you, some they even plant drugs on you, just to mess with you, they put drugs on you so they can take you to jail, and they just beat up on you if they don't like you. They do stuff like that all the time, they put guns on you, or they try to take guns away from you so they can put on someone else, They do all kinds of stuff, man, like what we're saying. That's why, we don't trust the cops, man.
You were saying how they try to run the neighborhood, and they talk about being in the neighborhood, and they paint stuff. Tell us about that kind of stuff.
They go into the neighborhood and they write on the walls, they put, fish love, or they put their police, like Gordon McLean, he had a picture of what they wrote on the wall. They put a big police badge or something on the wall, 11th district or something. They're out there, they're out there doing the same thing. They're putting graffitis on the walls too. They're writing, one time they put insane fish love or something, and then they put our emblem upside down. They put come get some or something. They do stuff like that.
I mean, what they try to do is like, since they know they can't stop, the gang banging, what there really is out in the street, and the drugs, what they try to do is like, they try to help each and every other gangbangers, fight against each other, so they could all finish themselves, so they could all kill themselves and not have, they don't have any problems in their hand. That's why they be taking you to a different hood, and either you get killed, and if you get killed, sometimes because the law puts you there, and they just drive away. That's why there's been a lot of killing most of the time.
I mean, one time it was me and him. We were standing outside. We were by the neighborhood, and we were just chilling there, man. And the policeman, they came up and they told us, they said, well, if insane fish love to us, they started throwing our emblem down. They came out the car and they whooped us, man, for nothing.
That was about what, a year and a half ago?
Well, they just beat us up, man, for nothing. They whooped us,
How do they treat the girls?
Man, they just the same thing as guys, man. They whoop on the girls, and they be feeling on the girls too,
So like, a man cop, he ain't got no right to frisk a lady or girl, Most of them, they be throwing them against the cars and they be touching them everywhere, and they be calling them all sorts of names, because they're out with us. You know, what's wrong with a couple of girls talking to us or our own, you know, our own girlfriends? They be calling him sorts of names and stuff, and they be like, oh, where's it? You know, your man ain't gonna do nothing. Look at him standing there. He's a fool himself, you know. We'll slap him around in front of you, and they do it. They do it, and if she says anything, she gets slapped too. She be getting hit by the stick too.
I remember one time I got arrested in Schaumburg, and then when they had me handcuffed to a chair, man, and they were calling, you know, they were telling me, you know, I'm not even Mexican. They were telling me you wetbag, you know, they were saying all kinds. You spit, you know, you don't Puerto Rico. You should have stayed in Chicago. You know, you can't mess with us white boys, and you know, we ruled this, and you know, and they started hitting me. You know, I was on a chair, and one of them hit me. I fell on the floor with the chair. I had to pick myself back up, you know, because I didn't say nothing, you know, because I don't know a lot about law, but you know, I know that I got a right. I don't have to say nothing. I can stay quiet, you know, and I guess they got mad, you know. They see if they don't get their way, they get mad, you know. If they don't get what they want, they get mad, you know. If they don't find drugs on you, they'll either beat you up or take you to another neighborhood of your rivals and drop you off there. But if they don't get what they want, man, they get to violence, man. They start throwing, they start fighting, you know, hitting us and stuff, and we can't do nothing. What we're gonna do? Go to court, you know. And some of them, man, like one time I had a dime bag of me, I know, marijuana, and a policeman comes and he takes a little joint from me and he rolls it up, and you know, and he just go ahead, you know, take it. But what am I gonna do? You know, call the police? Hey, I had a dime bag and a policeman took a joint from me. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather go home, you know, let me go, you know, and then to go to court or report them or anything, man.
There's been a bunch of times they be taking your drugs and they be doing it themselves.
Oh.
You know, like say, hey, you know, fine, we're young and we smoke, you know, we smoke weed and stuff, you know, but that's some of the time, right? Like say they caught me and one of my own boys, right? He's a gangster too, and they stopped us. They made us, you know, kneel down facing the car light right there while they were smoking our own marijuana, you know. And what was that? We couldn't do none, because after that we still got hit. And then they took the one that I was hanging with, they took him in and left me go. They told me to walk.
When they hit you in the police station, how do they beat you up? What do they do?
They just hit me, you know, because see, I had got arrested because, you know, my friends, they stole a car. And then we had stolen credit cards and we went to go use them to buy clothes and stuff, you know. And then, you know, he was telling us, where'd you get the credit card, you know, like, who stole the car, you know, why you do it, you know. And I just stood quiet, you know. I said, I don't know nothing, man, you know, I don't want to say nothing. Because, you know, that's what I learned, you know, on the streets. If you don't say nothing, then, you know, you'll be straight. I told him I ain't say nothing to my lawyer, you know. So I guess I was kind of snotty, but, you know, I told him I ain't say nothing there. Yo, you're going to tell us, man, you know. And, you know, they'll just, you know, slap me in the head or pull me, you know, they'll pull me by the hair and pull me back and tell me, you know, if you don't tell us, you know, we're going to hit you more. You know, they just slap you around, they'll kick you, anything, man, whatever they find, man, with them sticks and their flashlights. And that hurts, man, but they hit you, man. They hit you with all they might. They don't care, man. They just whoop on you for nothing.
See, but they're slick. They whoop on you when they have the handcuffs on you.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, most of our boys, they got hit by the law without the handcuffs, and they fight back, you know. See, like us, most of us, since they know us already, they handcuff us first, and then they put us against the wall, and they start, you know, hitting us with the knee, you know, against our ribs. We can't do nothing because we're against the wall and we're handcuffs, you know. We can't run and we can't do nothing. So we ain't got no right to do nothing. And we could go to court for what? So we could get busted because, you know, the majority is really theirs, you know. They got what, 99% of, you know.
Straight up, man.
They believe more the law than what they believe us because we're out in the street, we're gangbangers. You know, all we do is try to survive out here, and it's not easy.
Yeah, like one of my boys, you know, he was standing, you know, we were all standing, and then the law comes and told him, you know, that I wasn't there, they had told me about it, but, you know, they told him, if you fight with us, we'll let you go. You know, so my friend had to fight with the police officer so they can let him go, man, and they whooped him and still took him to jail because, you know, my friend was, you know, he was fighting with the cop, but then his other friend, the cop's friend, jumped in and they beat him up, man. They had his face all messed up, and plus they took him to jail, man. And then they charged him with you know, tempted to, you know, fight a police officer or whatever you call it, you know, attack on a police officer or whatever, you know, and they're the ones who told him to fight with him, you know.
Assaulting the cop.
Whatever they call it, man, you know, they try to hook you up for anything, you know. All they really want is just that we kill one another, man. They don't care. They're supposed to be friends. They ain't no friends, man. You call a police officer, something happens in your neighborhood, someone gets mugged or something. Man, if you call a police officer, the only reason they'll come if you tell them someone got shot or you heard gunshot, then they'll come. But anything else, or there's a gang fight, they won't come. An hour, 2 hours later, then they'll drive around, they'll come, ask what happened, but they don't care, man. They don't care. They're just gangbangers themselves. That's what they are, man. They gangbangers because they come out the car. Like if you're chilling and with your homies, you're just on the corner, they'll come with their car. What's up, man? What you guys ride? You know, and they start throwing down our nation. What you gonna do? Start pushing us and then, you know, just for us to get to fight with them. You know, they're gangbangers too, man.
Straight up,
they're
man.
punks.
They even okay, say like you're in your hood, right? You're in your own hood, and say there's a dealer, you know, he's dealing drugs, right? And so then the cops will come along and they'll be like, oh, you pay me a certain amount and I won't bust you, you know. And that's it. The guy, you know, the guy has what, a couple of warrants or whatever he has, you know, and they do that. And to most of us, you know, they be like, oh, you're a dealer and this and that, right? We tell them, no, we don't deal. And you know, the innocent ones, or sometimes the ones that really do deal, but they don't have none on them, they get caught. What do? They place, you know, drugs on them. They'll be like, hey, if you don't have any money or something to give us, then we're busting you, you know, and we're gonna whoop you no matter what. And we can't say anything. Whatever we have on us, we gotta give it, because we don't wanna get busted, you know. And it's not easy being, you know, living out here in the streets, because all you see is really killing now.
What do you think the cops should do? How do you think they should treat people?
Well, if they have any evidence, fine, you know, bust them. But don't be taking their money or anything, you know. Why are they cops? Why are they cops for? To try to help, you know, the juveniles and everybody else in the streets, not to take their money.
That's what it says on the side of the car, man. We serve and protect, man. They ain't protecting and serving nobody, man. They just serving themselves, you know. Cause, man, I'm telling you, the cops, they make money off of us. They take our money, they take our drugs, you know.
Take our gold,
you know. They be using drugs. They ain't serving and protecting nobody, man.
What do they do? Do they ever take your jackets or your shoes or your hats?
If you got, like say if you got colors, they tell you to take your colors off, you know. If you got like, you know, pink or blue or something, if you got, you know, red or yellow, they'll tell you to take off your clothes or turn it inside out or something like that, you know.
Or sometimes
they never took nothing from me though.
Sometimes they'll just take your hoodies, you know, the sweaters with the hood. If it's all black or something, and you know, if they like it and it's new or something, you know, they tell you, hey, take it off, you know. That's a gang color. You gotta take it off, because if not, you get whooped. And when you take it off, they just put it on themselves so they could cruise around in them narco cars, you know. And they'll be warm and everything. We gotta freeze and walk all the way back home. I don't think that's right. Sometimes they even take your shoes because they got colors, and they be wrapping it around, you know, they tie them and they throw them up on the poles. That's not right. We gotta walk barefooted around now.
In the back of the cars, sometimes they have all the hats of all the gangs, you know.
Yeah.
They be having, you know, like a yellow hat with the LKs, Land Kings, you know. Or they'll have a pink hat and say Imperial Gangsters, you know. They have them on there, man, of all the caps they take, you know. And I'm sure they don't take them to the police station, man. They keep them for themselves, man. You know, they take our shirts, you know, we'll be wearing our gang colors. They'll take them, and you know, they don't take them to the police. They take them home, man, and well.
You know, and if you got a ride, that's how they make money too, because they be taking your slide-out systems and your speakers. They bust them. They bust them. All they do is like go say you don't got your papers for it, you know, that you bought it. What do they come and do? They open the back door and they start busting your speakers. And the radio, they'll take it out. And if they know it's worth a lot of money, they'll be like, oh, we're taking this, you know. If you don't want to get busted, then let us take it.
They'll say that they were looking for drugs, man.
Yeah.
That's what they'll take. You know, well, what are you gonna do? You know, you can't tell nobody in court. We'll just say we were looking for drugs. You know, they'll bust you. Like I remember one time, you know, my father used to be in it. You know, my father, you know, he's in jail right now for murder. He was in, you know, into selling drugs and stuff. You know, and they raided my house. when I was 12 years old, and they took me to jail, man, and they put cocaine on me, you know, and then they locked me and my father up. When they were in my crib, they busted my crib up, man. You know, I can understand they start moving things to look for it, man, but you don't put an axe, man, through the TV set, man, and you don't put it, and then you don't go throwing the radio out the window, man. You know, they just busted up my crib, man, you know, looking for drugs. I can understand you open little things, man, but, you know, they put an axe, you know, through the TV set. They busted it. It was one of the big ones, you know. They get mad, man. They busted it up. I say, you know, like I said, man, they don't get their way. They'll make a way, you know. That's it.
I guess that's
What reason?